Hello and welcome to Neuro-Heretical Wargaming. I'm Brennan and today we will be painting the so-called Primaris Champion. Ooh. Ah. But yes, hello, welcome to Neuro-Heretical Wargaming. Let me make sure my mic is on. Yes, it is. Okay, good. Let me just put on the music real quick for you guys and we will get going. Oh. There we go. Give me just a second. Perfect. And perfect. And why is it picking up the music this time, but it didn't last time? That's what I want to know. Ow, come on. Well, that's mildly upsetting. For whatever reason, it's actually picking up the music on my mic this time, when last time it did not. Anyway. Start getting this bad boy painted. Be a fairly simple one. Typically, I would have my characters lately. What I've been doing is actually giving a zenithal with Grace here over the top to kind of help brighten it up a little bit, get rid of the real dark spots. However, it is quite chilly this time of year in Colorado, so we were not able to get that done. So it's actually kind of a classic paint scheme for me, so to speak. Which I mean, just kind of an older style. I don't do my Black Templars very often anymore. So it should be neat. I hope everyone is doing well today, and as always, hello Wanting Fire. And I just remembered I didn't put this up on our stream, so let me do that. There we go. Alright, back. First things first, I need to kind of decide how I'm going to do it. Alright, let's pull out. Actually, I've been doing a lot of tabards in red, so we'll kind of keep doing that. Piston, where is my corn red? Is that you? Yep. As usual, going to do a base layer of corn red on all the red parts. Which in this case will be pretty much just the tabard that he's got going on there. is a fun model. I've been kind of putting it off. Oh, a paint handle action. Get into some of the recesses. It goes wide enough. Should. There we go. There we go. And get some of those more awkward to reach spaces. I'll pop him off the base if I don't have to. Yeah, this model is kind of an interesting one. It was actually originally released as an event model, so you could only get it at events. But, and let this be a lesson to anyone that is ever worried they missed out on an event model, they did a short made-to-order run for him back in like, I think it was early 22. So it was shortly after the start of 10th edition. That's when I decided to get them. So I got them at the same time. I got my second unit of Sword Brethren, I think. Now what I mean is that if you ever feel like you missed out on, especially on a particular model, event models, the Warhammer Plus ones, don't count yourself out completely. There's always a chance they get re-released, because GW spent a lot of money on these plastic molds, and they're not gonna just like toss them. Heard my phone vibrate and forgot it was up above me, way up here. Yeah, this guy's pretty neat. I was a bit annoyed actually, though, when he came out, specifically because, actually not when he came out, when Codex Space Marines came out. I believe it was in the index. In the index, he was an individual character. You could take just the quote-unquote Primaris champion, right? Then the Codex came out. And with the Codex came... Sorry, give me just a second here. And with the Codex came the... I can't remember what it's called right now. It's not the Command Squad, I don't think. I think it's like Company Heroes or something like that. Yeah, with the Codex came a new like Company Heroes kit, of which a champion was included. Not this one specifically, but a champion. Problem being that when they did that, they decided that he could only be taken as part of that unit. He could not be taken individually anymore. So here we are. So now I own this model and don't really have a way to use him in game, kind of. So not a big deal, of course, but you know, modestly annoying. You know what? Actually, really cool. Let's do a red helmet too. Give him a bit more visual interest, because the black is going to be very flat. And we'll try to turn forward, and I will edge highlight it a bit, but no matter what I do, it's going to come out more than a little flat. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Just giving him like a different colored helmet is a great way And this goes for basically all Space Marines and really all 40k armies. Is that just like a helmet that's a different color? It's a great way to add visual interest to a model. Relatively simply and easily. Alright. That's all the red we're gonna do. That's for now, so we'll let that dry. I'm gonna dry this off. Then, let's put that in there. Start going over the little gold threads with your contributor. Yep, what's your hero? I know. RPGs were an option, Scott. And I thought it would be neat to go through and do some assembly, but the people hath chosen. And they have chosen Marines. To be fair, with the arbitrates, I was actually just gonna... They were not going to be painted today, they would just be put together. Because I have a box of 20 of them that I actually split with Scott back in the day. And so, here we go. And hopefully we'll have the Gravis Captain on soon. I'm actually kind of slowly running out of primed miniatures. So one of two things needs to happen. Either Scott needs to get back home soon, so he can I can have him prime some stuff for me. Or I just have to buy more miniatures and we can just do some good old-fashioned assembly streams while we're in the deepest, darkest, coldest states of Colorado. Whichever comes first. Ain't that right, Scott? Hey, it's the mini doc. Honestly, I can go for something like that. Hear me out, Scott. We make it a 24-hour hobby stream. Hear me out. 24 hours of straight hobby goodness. There we go. Do that so we're not in a sea of red. Hello, Tristan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I knew I'd see you here. I just didn't know when. Actually, you know what would be fun, Scott? If we just, like, raided the brew box at the game store. We raid that, and then we do our own little version of the Mechs Workshop or whatever it's called on Warhammer TV. I think that could be fun. Hello, the Union. Glad you're enjoying Pup Cam, even though Pup is not cooperating today. She really, really, really wants her bed to be in the middle of the room, and I moved it back, and I don't think she agreed with that. So she is just currently flopped over in the middle of the room. Also, I need to find a more elegant solution to Pup Cam right now, just because. Sorry, small details. Just because I got this new desk and it doesn't quite mount the same way as we would have liked. So I will have to sit down and just kind of figure that out a little bit, I think, at some point, but no big rush for that. As I'm saying, you can't win them all. Like, Scott, what are you talking about with orcs? I'm a little lost. I'm sorry. That is kind of the downside with the new setup, is I can't quite see the screen as well as I used to be able to. Isn't a big deal, but at least on my end, I notice it feel ever so slightly out of blue. But that's why you have a Scott. Because then Scott can do all that for you. Keep half an eye. I would also like to say, Mr. The Union. Yeah, if you guys are having difficulties, please let me know. Like Scott said, he is currently trying to use a potato. I shouldn't have put paint on this just yet, on the laurel. That was a mistake, because I want to go forward soon eventually. Oh, there goes one pup barked, and we lost the other. Oh, the bit spots of the streamer. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I see now. Sorry, I got lost. I think there's a fair bit of Necron stuff in there, though. Yes, so tonight, a little hard to kick on camera because it is primed in complete black. This is the Primaris Champion that was released a few years ago. It was initially released as a event model, I think, at the tail end of 9th edition. But it is actually now was re-released as a made-to-order, which is where I got mine. It's a nice model. I can't use it because it's part of a unit I don't have all the pieces to now, but, you know, it's still a nice model. It can probably fill in as a, Emperor's Champion, or a Castellan for my Black Templars. Either or, really. And they are both quite good, though. And then again, you can only take one Emperor's Champion, so there's not really a need for two. Even though I guess I technically do have two, because I have the old, like, oh god, when did that one come out? Like 4th, 5th edition one, technically. The one that was initially in metal, and then was re-released as Finecast. Which, now that we are well into 10th edition, it's kind of weird to not hear anyone talking about Finecast anymore. Like, I get why no one talks about it anymore. but it's kind of weird how quickly it has, since it kind of became obvious that Yogi's policy was to remove any fine cast models. That still existed, with some very, very few exceptions. It's kind of weird seeing it kind of leave the, what's the term I'm looking for? Discourse. Around 40k. Because that was, even when I started actually playing back in 9th, back in, late 2020, that was a big deal. It was a big deal. And now is not, really. There'll be a lot of reds and golds tonight. Best guess in time to completion for this guy? Honestly, because I'm doing a pretty straightforward scheme for me, I could probably have him done probably by the end of this stream. So probably about an hour and a half might be a bit generous, but honestly, he's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go too crazy on him. So I feel like an hour and a half is probably about fair. The big one, the big part that I'm not sure on is going to be this bit right here, which is like the shroud of, I forget what it's called. It has a specific name for Black Templars, but it's kind of like shroud over this skeleton here. So I do want to have it be that kind of like wet material where you can kind of see the skeleton underneath. I just don't know how to achieve that effect. And that is my fault, of course, because I did not do research on how I wanted to paint this guy before putting him up for vote. I haven't seen you around, so if you are new here, I would just like to say we do hold a vote for every week for what we will be painting on Hobby Stream. So this is just the one that won this week. There will be another one next week, and so on and so forth as well. If you want to have a say in what we build and or paint, aggressively, averagely, is what I would say. Because I am not a gifted painter. Doc says, have you ever considered hosting a VC live hobby night? Not sure what you mean. Do you mean like a voice chat or something else that I'm missing? Because that's entirely possible. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, the Union. I'm just gonna call you Union. All right, just because I will probably say the here and there, but if I say Union, I promise you're the one I'm talking to. So I've been in the hobby itself. So for the hobby specifically, I've been in the hobby for 6 years now. No, it's 2025. So about 5 years. I have been a 40k fan for a little longer than that. I was just too broke to afford it in high school. Then 2020 came. I got out of the army. I had a fair bit of money in my bank account from my deployment. And I thought, I need a hobby. so I'm not quite sitting around all day while I'm going to school. So you know what? I got some money to burn. Now's the perfect time. And kind of here's where we're at, right? Definitely did not think when I picked up the Indominus box with a friend of mine, an army buddy of mine. Did not think it would end with us. He's not involved in it, but would not think it'd end up with me and some other friends of mine that I made through the hobby, such as Scott here. Yep, through sheer luck. Did not think that 5 years later we would have a YouTube channel where we, do this every week. It's crazy to think about, and can't say I'd change it for the world or anything like that. Yeah, like Scott said, it was a complete fluke that I ran to him, and if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, you will have seen Chris, also known as Bird, on here. Ran into both of them by pure luck at a local hobby store one night when a friend and I decided to play randomly. I tried to actually go to a store and use actual terrain and not good old-fashioned kitchen hammer. And yeah, by sheer luck, they happened to be playing that day. I think out of the 4 of us there to play 40K, only my friend and I had actually planned to be there. Scott, I think, just happened to be there. What? You were buying something at the same time, Scott? That Bird happened to be there, and the employee was like, hey, we got a guy that's looking for a game. And Scott, being the great person that he always is, was like, cool, I'm down. I'll play a game with him. And I think, I don't remember. Yeah, we're a pretty close-knit group. I mean, I think it's fair to say that, you play with the same people for, 4 to 5 years, depending. Tend to get you get close together. Sometimes, whether you want it or not. Give me just a second. I don't know. My lead belcher. I think it's on my carousel. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah, they were doing reservation only. Yeah, because that was like early 21, I think. Maybe late 2020, but I think it was early 21. Like sometime like January, December. Before that, we've been playing a lot of like Kitchen Hammer and stuff, so. And that's the first time I had ever actually been to a store to play. And yeah, so we had to do like a reservation online. Oh no, my lead belcher is very, very empty. Chat, have I made a mistake? Also, I need to stop shaking it with my hand on the desk because it makes the camera shake. Yeah, and I know it was sometime after the Space Marine Codex came out, because the main reason I started talking to Scott and Bird was because I was actively trying to they had like questions, they weren't sure if something worked, and I had the Space Marine Codex. So I was kind of letting them borrow that. Then I let, I think Scott, let's see, you let me look through the, was it the not Imperial Armor, what they call the Forge World rule books. It has a specific name, but I cannot remember the actual name. Imperial Armor was the ones they did with like the lore and stuff. I don't think they called it Imperial Armor for 9th edition. Actually, I think it's the same name they call it now for the free PDFs they put out for the Forge World rules. Maybe it is still Imperial Armor, I don't know. But I miss some of those Forge World things. They were fun. They were dumb. They were occasionally overpowered. Except for that one time, Scott. And I got modestly chewed out. Not chewed out. That's not fair because we weren't like in trouble. But we had one guy got upset with us at a doubles tournament because Scott was using Imperial Armor. Mind you, I do believe those guys were, I can't say intentionally, but who were using some AdMech rules wrong. They were just mad that they were just salty that we won, to be honest with you. We did pretty good that game, or that doubles tournament. So we were doing his Tau and my Black Templars. And Black Templars are tough. Or 9th edition were tough. No, that's not really their shtick. I think I've said it on here before, but GW is still kind of trying to figure out what the Black Templar shtick is. We do occasionally. Honestly, I don't know if I've been to a tournament this year, to be honest with you. And to be fair, when I'm talking about like tournaments for us, I mean like local tournaments, not like big ones, right? So like the meta tends to be very local. It tends to be very different from what the overall meta is, if that makes sense. And we have a joke of like people coming out down from like other places just to bully us because no one at our shop is that good. Though I will say, if you want to see kind of more of the style of tournaments we typically do, kind of what a tournament kind of looks like for us, we did recently do a tournament for Extra Life. Oh, there's PubCam. We did a 24-hour tournament for Extra Life, entirely on live streamed on our channel. So if you want to see kind of what tournaments usually look like for us, that would be a pretty good place to start, I would say. Just because, honestly, a lot of the main people that are involved in the tournaments were there. You know, Jeff was the TO for the tournament. Sean was there, and he's typically one of our TOs, so they kind of helped guide it a little bit in a similar fashion how we typically would. So yeah. Let's see. I'll leave the banner for now. I might put a gray primer on it if I knew where that primer was. So really, we might not be painting this guy for too long. We might jump over to... I might do some more of the Sanctifiers. But first, there are some things I want to get. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I can do a sword. Ha! But yeah, we tend to not be super duper competitive. We'll do like local tournaments and stuff, but a lot of time it's just, you know, showing up, screwing around, trying to make good lists, but we're not tryhards. Yeah, we're not out here buying the meta list or anything like that. Generally, at least, well, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for Scott or anyone necessarily, but generally my lists kind of start more with a theme or something that I would think would be interesting and or funny, rather than like, oh, this is just good, so I want to build around this. Now, if I find a combo that's good, that seems interesting to try, I'll try it. And I will run like Black Templar specifically. Yeah, I'm going to run the Castellans and Martial combo because that's really good. And I'm going to be running like the Redeemer, but you know, I'm not going to be going all ham on it. I'm not running 3 Sword Brethren squads or whatever it is these days. Though, I do think I do think Black Tide did win a GT recently, which is always fun to see. Because you just don't get to see, you know, you don't see Black Tide lists as often as you really would like to, you know? Not as often I would like to, I guess is what I should say. We do need to figure out Adepticon, Scott. I almost texted you about that earlier to figure out how and what that would look like. Because for me, part of the issue one is cost. It's not cheap to go all the way out to Milwaukee. And the other thing is need to figure out. Wait a second. Need to figure out how like taking off from work and stuff like that. So apparently it starts on like a Wednesday or whatever. Like when I looked at the website, it was like the 25th through the 29th. The 25th of March is like a Wednesday. So yeah. But yeah, I would really like to do Adepticon. Go out to Adepticon or really any of the kind of bigger events. So we could also look at like Dallas or something. That'd be a little closer. But yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to do, I don't know about you guys, but if I did that, I would really want to do like a little travel log, a little vlog, a little travel blog, and just kind of have fun with it. I think at this point, one of my big things is just kind of, one of my interests with the channel at least, is kind of experimenting with what we do. So I mean, if there's anything that any of you guys want to see us do, you know, let us know, and we'll give it a shot. Like I said, you know, kind of traveling around a little bit, going to different kind of bigger events. Oh no! Oh. The danger of using multiple colors. Anyway. Yeah, just trying different things, experimenting with the channel, having fun with it, you know? This one I want to do. Got some Rackhearth flesh. Start putting down my off-white colors a little bit. I know where I had it. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, I know Scott's answer, but yeah, would you guys be interested in seeing us doing some Adepticon coverage next year? Or any big like event that you can think of? Let us know and we can kind of start feeling that out and seeing what that might look like. Do you think Scott is still having the buffering problems? Though, like Scott did say, we are kind of trying out a couple new things, mostly with like a low latency setting. So if you guys are like noticing any issues, please let us know. Scott is weak, but what else is new? I'm joking, of course. Good night, Scott. Sleep well. We will see you soon. You know, only like, what, 4 more days? darkness. Alright, now Scott's gonna tell me how you guys really feel about him. I don't know if I think I've had some of these paints since I started in the hobby. Mornfang, definitely. I haven't been using it a whole lot lately anymore. Kind of moved on to Doom Bull and Snakebite Leather. That's way too much paint. That's okay. We don't make mistakes, we make happy little accidents. I think I need to shift this around a little bit just because the quality I don't think is exactly where I want it. I think that my phone, essentially the camera, is a lot higher than it was previously. I think we'll have to shift that around a little bit. But that's okay. We're a small channel. Every stream is a learning stream. Here's a learning opportunity. And that's okay. That is a-okay. We'll see where we can get with these guys. And kind of go from there a little bit. I think my focus tonight is getting this guy kind of done. And then working on the sanctifiers a little bit. I don't know if it'll be a long stream or not, just because, you know, working. And I didn't have my energy drink, so I'm a little extra tired today than I necessarily normally would be. Alright. That off to, where's my Xandri dust? Alright. Got real tired there for a second. Dang it, Scott said he was tired, and now all of a sudden I'm tired. How does that even work? Someone explain that to me. Like I'm sympathetically tired or something. Of course, Pup is tired too, clearly. She had a whole long day of barking at nothing, didn't you, Aryas? Yeah. You have a long day? Yeah. I guess. Something of a domino effect. Got one more right there, but like I said, I'm gonna leave it. Kind of leaving that whole section a little bit. I think that's all the purity seals. Thanks for the actual seal. Right. Let's redo this part real quick. Cover over that corn red splash. At least a little bit. Alright. I mean, next step is just giving this guy a wash. We have Agrax Earthshade. Priming minis. So priming, I typically use the I like using the Citadel color ones. The two primary ones I use are Chaos Black and Gray Seer. And the reason for that is those are just ones I've had the best success with here in Colorado. I will say using a rattle can primer, where you are can affect how well it works, right? So up here it's pretty dry, so we don't usually have to worry about dry, and as long as you're smart about temperature, it's relatively like, cool or kind of mildly warm, kind of lukewarm. Not lukewarm, that sounds weird, but kind of like a mild temperature a lot of the time. So that makes it pretty easy to put a primer on without any crazy effects. But honestly, the biggest thing is just follow the directions on the rattle can. It'll kind of it'll usually give you the whoever made the rattle can knows what they're doing, right? So following their instructions is usually the best way to do it. I think. See, I'll usually wear a glove. I'll hold it out. I think generally for Citadel they recommend about 12 inches away, and just kind of do it from there. It's a real simple, quick process. I set up a cardboard box just because we're in an apartment, so I don't get it all over, our patio. Yeah, all over our patio or anything like that. That keeps it simple, kind of keeps it contained a little bit. Do it outside. Obviously, don't do it inside. Or do it in the garage, but have the garage door open so it's well ventilated. Yeah, overall, rattle cans are really simple, really straightforward. Kind of like I said earlier, I have been liking to doing more what we call a zenithal highlight. So what you'll do is you kind of prime black, kind of how I had these guys, or grab the Gravis Captain. So you got the Gravis Captain here, right? Complete in black. Then for zenithal, you kind of come over the top, or if you want to do like a light source from a different angle, you can. I just do it over the top to keep it simple, and you go over it with a lighter color. Like I do Gray Seer, which is kind of a medium gray. Go over the top, it catches all the exposed areas on top that light would hit, but keeps like the dark in the shadows. And then that is a really good starting spot to do contrast paints, because then those light spots stay lighter and the shadow spots stay darker, so the contrast paints just along them very nicely. I don't think I have any readily available. I feel like digging into my collection over there. But yeah, I find that helps a lot. It makes the contrast paints go on really easy. Contrast paints in general, if that's the route you're going to go, you'll want to use light so you don't go over black very well, or really at all, kind of depending. Yeah, all at a nice distance. Yeah, I mean, even just like priming is like, one, it's an important step because it keeps the paint on the model, right? It is arguably one of the more important steps, right? Like, you can't, like, a bad primer can make a model, like, a good primer you won't notice, a bad primer you will. So spending time having a good primer, I've used Army Painter in the past. Excuse me. I've used Army Painter in the past to, I think I used them on some of my Night Lords. Found up here, it like felt like it took forever to dry, and I'm not sure why. That might have been me. Maybe I just didn't check it enough. Like I'm hopefully doing with this Mephiston red. I will say, if you are doing for a kind of a first-time painter or first-time miniature painter at least, especially if you're painting a whole army, honestly, kind of like what you did where you got the grain skin, doing your primer slash base or your primer as the same as your base color makes it so much easier, and it'll make it so much easier to get into the painting, especially for like Space Marines. Yeah, that helped me a lot when I was first getting started. Was since I am doing Black Templars, so I did do Black Templars, being able to just prime them black and immediately start putting paints on it, kind of like basically what I'm doing tonight, makes it so much easier. Like it's kind of crazy. Like it's so much faster to get paint on and get them on the board and get them looking nice. Like you're not gonna win any contests with it, but that's okay. It gets the process going. I need new shade brushes. And then one of the things I forgot to grab while I was out and about this weekend. Because I was literally at a hobby store getting hobby supplies and totally forgot. Got like a paint and a brush. Yay me. Alright, so we're gonna give this guy a generous helping of Adrax Earthshade and darken up a lot of these colors. Make him a little bit dirtier. By little we mean a lot. Alright. This will also help. Shades are also just kind of critical when you're getting started, because they fill in all of those little spaces that hypothetically you could paint, I guess, but believe me when I say you don't want that negativity in your life. This helps just fill in the cracks. I find it makes everything a little less shiny, a bit more, I wouldn't call it a realistic color, but a bit more grounded, less clean. Dirties everything up a bit, which is always nice. Oh yeah, that should work fine. You can use any primer you want. The only thing I would like be hesitant to suggest is like I've seen some people use, I think like the Rust-Oleum ones. So you have to be a little bit careful with which one you get. I know some of them don't work well with plastic. But as long as you have a plastic primer, you're totally fine. The paint is paint at the end of the day. Primer is a little bit different, but not that different. So mixing and matching brands isn't an issue at all. Did I mean my Kriegsman? Yeah. I mean, so like good examples for my Kriegsman. Hold it way up there. You guys can maybe see it. Pull them down a little bit. They are actually done in Grey Seer as a base for the most part, and then they use a mix of Citadel and model color Vallejo paints, and absolutely zero issues. There's that great term. The whole point of primers is that they have a slightly different texture, so it allows any paint that follows it to stick better. So that's kind of the thing that you don't want to have happen, is that it's kind of the danger of not using primers, what I should say. Is that you have it, you put it on, and the paint starts chipping off because it doesn't adhere to the plastic very well. Alright. gonna start going back another layer of that Xandri dust. Let that all rise. I might need to start putting up a little X marks the spot again on this so I can remember exactly where I need to place the miniature. Yeah, thank you. I'm liking how this champion's coming out. He's not crazy. He's not, you know, it's not the most unique paint job I've ever done, but honestly, kind of like I said, that's okay. Like, I don't have any problems with that. Sometimes it's nice just to have a simple, like, get it done, be happy with it on the tabletop paint job. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think I mentioned it before, but that's, you know, kind of one of the goals with the channel is being like, hey, we're just average dudes. We do average paint jobs and stuff like that. Like, none of this is anything that you're needing to be like an insane expert with paints or anything. That's not who we are, and you know, I think our models reflect that. And that's okay. Like, people are a mix, and it's kind of the cool thing about this hobby is really it's, you know, 2 or 3 in 1. You've got the model building side of it. You have the painting side of it, which of course is partially tied to the model building. And then you have the war game side of it. And I think that's pretty great, actually. Music's still playing, by the way? Yeah, it looks like it. Hell yeah. Tactical rock kind of done there. Get me a drink of water. Alright. Let's see here. What else can we do? I'm not sure how dry the actual the wash is just yet, so I'm kind of holding off putting any more reds on that specifically, but I am going to do these purity seals real quick. And a nice bright Mephiston red. Normally I use this kind of as like highlights, but I really want these to pop. I want to do the piston as the base for the purity seals in particular. You also find a lot of time, or a lot more recently, because I've been using more contrast methods, I have been using more and more I'm using purple a lot more as kind of a purity seal color, especially anything that's like not black. I find it pops pretty well. And normally I would do his chest here, kind of the, not the Aquila, but whatever it's called. I would typically do that in the Xandri dress as well, but because he has his like, his pose is very tight to his chest, he has it right here. That, I guess. He has it really well covered, and so I'm not going to deal with that too much. So, okay, I think it's good enough we can kind of start messing with highlights a little bit. The trick is, when painting, is to have a kind of crappy, I mean that's not quite the word, but, you know, have some pants you don't care too much about. That way you have something to dry your hands off on, I found. A bit heavy, but it's okay. And that's okay. It happens. So yeah, so for this, I'm just gonna kind of hit the high points, kind of like I said earlier when talking about the contrast. We're just gonna hit this kind of where the light would hit it the most, just to help bring up that color a little bit. As is often the case with these sort of things, less tends to be a bit more. Of course, when you are dealing with shaky hands and a shaky brush, that is kind of like hard to do sometimes. So sometimes you gotta live with the accidents. Yeah, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. So I think I saw you put purple on a purity seal before. I thought it was a cool idea. Seems certainly guys that they'll purple on them anyway. Yeah, honestly, I think my two favorite colors for purity seals are red and purple. Like I said, I like the red because it's a really high contrast with black, so it looks really good there. I will also say, I like the purple for like non-black colors, just because the, I don't know how to put it. I like it. I've been doing it. Like I have been doing some dudes in red, so doing purple on it just makes sense there. If you want to see an example of that, down in the Discord, the Dreadnought I posted recently. Excuse me. He actually has purple purity seals on his chest, and that one's real easy. Honestly, with a lot of times with purity seals, I've been using more and more contrasts. So like that one is just the Luxian purple. That's a nice kind of brighter purple, and I think it looks good. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, I've been kind of experimenting more and more with my Black Templar schemes, doing just kind of non-standard stuff. Just because you see, you know, Black Templars are a fairly popular chapter, so you see them fairly often. And painting all black and stuff, it's a little bit samey after a while. Sometimes you just need to do something a little bit different. Making that so fun. You guys need to very carefully somehow this little edge. Yeah, it's gonna sound silly, but you know, the trick to an edge headlight is just to focus on the edges. Okay. I'm starting to dig it. I'm like hungry to come around. Right. Get some Martian iron earth out in preparation. A little stretching. Yeah, I would agree. That's why, like I said, I've been experimenting more. Now I've got, I think at this point, 4 different kind of base color schemes with our Templars. So I have the Sword Brethrens, they're kind of Knights Errant. They're kind of silver iron armor. I have the Bronze Boys. I have any fire dudes are, I guess the Redemptionist dudes, they're all in red. I have the quartered scheme on the Dreadnought, which was fun, and I may or may not ever do again. I guess, and I got my black scheme, of course. I guess I have 5 schemes in my Black Templar army at this point. I don't know if there's any more I will do. I'm sure I might do like a yellow one eventually. But I guess if you include Hellbreak, that counts as 6, but I don't really include him. His default is gold, so it's not really different. But I will say that is kind of one of the things with Space Marines, is they do feel a bit samey. But at the same time, it's not hard to justify, you know, switching it up with them pretty easily. Right, next, gonna be some Seraphim. Yeah. Nothing crazy. So I'm just gonna go over the purity seals. I will say, one nice thing about doing the purity seals is that with the when you do like the actual wax part of the seal itself, don't really have to worry too much if the paint goes a little awry, because it's, you know, it's purity seal, wax. It's gonna spread out and be kind of weird. Okay, yes, a yellow Black Templar's Imperial Fist, kind of. That's why you do it. But to be fair, that is where they started. The Templars were a special like subgroup of Imperial Fists. So doing a little, it's not uncommon for people to do some kind of like black and yellow throwback for them. I mean, I kind of have one on my Execrator. His tabards was PL that came out a little dingier than I would have wanted. That one I probably need to go back up and fiddle with, but that's neither here nor there. Alright. I think while that kind of finishes drying a little bit, I think the next step is actually probably just do the base. And then, yeah, we'll get the base on there. Oh no, my brushes! There are you. Like you were using the bed anyway. Alright, there's your dose of drama. Alright. Alright, so we'll just do a little bit of terrain. Old crappy brush is typically best used for this. So I like to use Martian Iron Earth on my Black Templars just because I find kind of brownish orange, or orangish brown, whatever, is a pretty nice contrast to black armor. Is always moderately nerve-wracking because you want to, because I mean it's like, yeah, like you don't mind getting some on the mini, right? Like, one, it's partially inevitable, and two, like, it helps blend them into the environment a little bit more. But yeah, so don't want to get like too crazy, you know? All right. Put that on there, let that dry. See, you got it. Pup cam, brush cam. See, oh, Pup's back in her bed. Now that stuff's falling from the sky, you're interested again? Yeah. You want some pets? Oh, such a good girl. Yeah. She likes her pets. Even if she doesn't like to admit it. Huh. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, honestly, he's kind of at the point. I want to do one more color. I want to do one more Evil Sun Scarlet to really hit those bright spots. And actually on the top, I want to do a little bit more than just that highlighting. Real quick, I'm looking at it. That was a slight mistake, but it's fine. It's got really dark right up here, so I kind of want to brighten it back up a smidge. Yeah, so I think we'll do one more kind of layer on the reds. Which I guess I could highlight the other ones. To think of it. Mechanica Standard Gray, that'll work. Highlight the black a little bit. Give him some more definite form. He's a character, so I want him to feel a little bit more thought out. So the trick when doing kind of ones like this, where you're kind of moving to steadily brighter and brighter colors, is with each one to do just a little bit less of the edge than you did before. So like before I kind of did basically the whole thing. This one I'm kind of going to do like maybe halfway up, if that. Just so you don't completely cover the previous layer too much. Little. I think I said that earlier. I got clay on my hands. I'm back home again. Kind of like I said earlier, less is a little bit more. Side note, a good chunk of like how to do this just comes down to, you know, finding the right angle. I don't typically do it, but you could take this a step further to the point where you're doing just like a little dot of a slightly brighter color, but I don't typically care to do that, so like I said, just an average Joe painter, nothing crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy on it. I'm gonna give these a little bit of something though. I don't typically highlight the purity seals, but I probably should start doing so, I think. Just to make them pop out a little bit more. Alright. I think he's looking pretty good. So I think we'll just do kind of final edge highlight with Mechanica Standard Gray. Kind of burn up these last 10 minutes. So if anyone has any questions, anything they want to say, if you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like the channel, like seeing more of this, the best way to encourage us is to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be back here same time next week for sure. I can promise you guys that. And of course, we will be having a Take a little red in there. I did. The danger of switching colors. I don't think it's a big deal, but still. It's more gray than I need, but I want to get the red after there, so. Yeah. We will be doing, we will play every Sunday. We stream Warhammer 40k. We will be back at it again this coming Sunday. I think we can go ahead and kind of announce that we will be delaying our Saturday side quest till next week, I believe is the plan, just because unfortunately we are a little bit tight on manpower this week, so we're not quite able to make it work. So, unfortunate reality, but it is what it is. But for anyone that is interested, it will be we will be playing Kill Team on our next side quest Saturday. So do be on the lookout for it. It'll be a little bit different. If you have watched our 40k streams though, it will be familiar though. It'll be more familiar. That's the word I'm looking for. I haven't decided what we're going to play yet. We'll have to see exactly who's available next Saturday anyway. But if I play, I will probably be playing my Space Cops. Actually, fun little lore thing for the channel for anyone that might be interested. Our first game we ever recorded was actually a Kill Team game. We did a short little 40-minute game to kind of get a feel for how the setup worked. Morning Fire is asking, ooh, you said the same good. Sorry, it's Morning Fire. I got a little sidetracked there. Fire's knows what's going against what for Sunday. I don't know for sure. I know Scott is kind of the lead on that. I'd have to double check exactly. Now, unfortunately, my way of double checking is up here. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure. I think we do have at least people set, but I'm not sure what they're bringing. I'd have to double check exactly who's playing too. But we will have something. I may be in the chat a little bit here and there, but as previously mentioned, last Sunday, this coming Sunday is my wife's birthday, so I will be busy. I have been reliably informed multiple times that I will be preoccupied, which is fair. She puts up with all of this, and I am very grateful for it. Okay. Let's see, Maydog says, just got done with my Sanguinary Guard kit bash, posted in work in progress. I will have to absolutely check that out. Sanguinary Guard are, honestly, hot take, I do personally kind of like their current model, even though I know it is not a particularly beloved kit at the moment, which I think is fair. But personally, I like it. but it's just a matter of personal taste. So that's, excuse me, that is a-okay. And thank you, Wine Fire. I am hoping we should have a good weekend too. I know we will be seeing. I feel like I have something in my finger. Yeah, I think it's just wet. We will be. I'm pretty sure we will be watching Wicked this weekend. It's kind of the big thing, and then we just have lunch with her family and stuff like that. So it'll be a good weekend. Can't complain. Weekend with free food is never a bad weekend. Alright, so some of these kind of final edge highlighting's done. And then cool. No! I almost lost the brushes again. This desk is actually a little bit smaller than my old one, like pair dimensions wise, so I'm kind of feeling out exactly where everything needs to go, but it's not bad. Hey, if you are there, Mini Doc, during the stream, I will be asking you lots of questions. I can say that right now. I do know that, I think I mentioned it before, but mention it again. Our store is not a particularly big skirmish game store, so we don't really play Kill Team. I've only played it a couple of times, I think, even though I technically have like a good half dozen Kill Teams at this point. So yeah, having someone there that definitely knows how to play it will be greatly appreciated. It is something that we're not especially familiar with, like we are with kind of bigger 40k. Off studio mode for things. Can't see my face. Ta-da! We'll have him there-ish. There he goes. He looks fierce as he is done. But yeah, be looking on that. Anyone who's here to help, be greatly appreciated. Like I said, we do not know 40k or not 40k. We don't know Kill Team that well, so having someone that's an expert would be appreciated. Yeah, he looks quite ready, and he will fit in quite nicely, I think, as a Castellan, which is kind of the unique Black Templar lieutenant. I don't think I'm down. I see set him up before I actually leave. Tristan says the best musical has Barricade. I think you're just on a Les Mis binge right now. I'll be honest with you. I like Les Mis. It's fun. All right. As we kind of go into these last few minutes, if anyone has any questions or anything they really just want to get off their chest, now's a great time to say it. Otherwise, I will be calling it a night here pretty soon. Of course, there is always the Discord down below. Everyone that has been talking, I know you are all already part of it. So, more than welcome to move any conversations down there. And just real quick, Glancing Green Garden. Real quick, Mini Doc. Are these kit bashes for 30k or 40k? Just because I'm curious. They definitely have the more like 30k aesthetics, but I don't know if you're just going with 30k aesthetics but wanting to use them in 40k or what. But I like them. I think they look quite nice. Thought there was green stuff on that one for a second, but I guess that's just a bottle cap, probably some glue behind it. The old resin glue. I mean, that's fair. Les Mis is pretty good. I can't say anything. I once used multiple songs from that presentation for my French class. Oh, okay. Gonna use it for 30k, but 40k aromas. Vanguard vets. That's fair. I feel like aren't Vanguard vets actually pretty good with the I guess the Raven Guard detachment. I think I've been hearing them, which is weird because they were kind of gone for the vast majority of the edition so far. I am curious to see what next edition looks like because it would make sense to get new Vanguard vets. Yeah, I think it would make sense to get new Vanguard vets as of right now. They're kind of one of the few firstborn kits left, and since Stern Guard's got new ones, I feel like Vanguard vets are kind of the next obvious pick. Oh. Black Shield. Love to see Black Shields. I haven't actually looked at the Black Shield rules this edition, I probably should. Black Shield forces are kind of one of my favorite things in 30k, just because you have so many options, right? Like, you can, if you really like a particular chapter in 40k, you can say, hey, this is from, this is how they got started as a Black Shield unit in 30k. I think that's interesting. My one problem with 30k thematically is that it tends to be a bit bolt countery, and which I don't strictly like in Warhammer. Like, obviously in historic games, World War II, that's different. But Warhammer in particular, I would like to see more unique schemes and all that. And I think Black Shields are a great way to include that. Ooh, +1 toughness and +1 strength. While panicked, suppressed, or pinned, the bonus is doubled if you have 2 stats effects or more. Okay. That's actually not bad, especially... So I haven't played a whole lot of 3rd edition Horus Heresy. My understanding is that it is rather... getting those effects is a pretty big deal in the new 3rd edition, and it's... I think it's kind of easy, but I could be wrong on that, don't quote me. So yeah, having like things that specifically kick off when those effects are in place is obviously useful in a few different ways, you know. It's actually drying pretty quick. Oh, when you pursue / run down an enemy, you get VP for it. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Alright. Sorry, that felt like a pretty hard cut, but I'm getting a bit tired. Getting a little after 9 o'clock here. I think this is probably about as good a place to end it as any. Again, thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out. It generally is you guys that makes Hobby Hangout special. Like, it is what makes it worth it. Yeah, the important part of Hobby Hangout is the hangout part. Like, the whole idea of this is that, you know, it's like a bunch of people getting around a table and just hanging out, painting, getting projects done. I can't speak for many people, but I know Tristan was telling me when he was here, the Hobby Hangout has been a great way for him to just like sit down and paint for a couple hours. And honestly, same here. I've worked through so much in my backlog thanks to you guys that I might otherwise have not. So again, thank you guys so much for coming out, hanging out. Again, if you are not subscribed, if you have not liked, if you have not commented, please feel free to do so. Every little bit helps the channel, helps keep us coming back, helps us afford new and better equipment, hopefully as time goes on at least. Real quick rundown. This Sunday, we will be doing our standard 40k stream, so be on the lookout for that. I think we do have players set, but we don't know if we have armies set just yet. So I'll be on the lookout for that. We should be posting the stream itself here pretty soon. Otherwise, Side Quest Saturday is getting pushed back a week just due to time constraints. So be looking out for that. Depending on who's playing. If I'm playing, I can tell you right now, I will have my Space Cops. It will be Arpates versus something. We'll have to see what that something is. Otherwise, beyond that, we will be having next week, as always. Hobby Hangout will be here again. I will be putting the poll up here soonish. Trying to do a little bit better than putting those up the day or two before. Hopefully we'll have that up sometime this week. So be on the lookout for that. I will post that in the votes channel on the Discord when it is live. But otherwise, I think that's everything I need to go over. Again, thank you all so much for showing up. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being awesome. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you on Sunday. Bye. This is awkward, except for like do two things. There we go.